So, hello. I'm making this video because sometimes my thoughts, they're all over the place. And I know I'm not the only person that feels like their thoughts are all over the place. So, I want to, start this off by saying that in no way, shape, or form, I'm a medical professional. However, the power of Google researching and reading, lets me learn a little bit more about these things. So I'm gonna take a stab at this, talk about why, you know, I do certain things or feel certain things, um, based on experience, with myself and seeing others, especially as a teacher, I see kids that have ADHD. So I'm gonna talk about ADHD right now, and I'm also gonna talk about how impulsivity, is something that is a part of ADHD. So as I've been reading, I found out that people with ADHD, they tend to be impulsive due to differences in our brain function. Particularly in the prefrontal cortex, which regulates self-control, decision making, and impulse inhibition. And the reason as to why that happens is that ADHD brains, they have a dopamine dysregulation. We have lower levels of dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter linked to reward and motivation. So what happens is that this can lead to seeking immediate gratification instead of considering the long-term consequences, and as an adult, that will have, some serious consequences for us. There is, a weaker executive functioning with the prefrontal cortex, which is, when it helps us with the planning in our impulse control. So it's less active, or, it develops more slowly in people with ADHD. I don't know how long it takes to develop, but I guess it's slow. So this makes it harder for us to pause and to think before acting. We're always, they say think before you act. It's harder when you have ADHD. We also have a hyper focus on the present. ADHD brains, they often prioritize the immediate stimuli over future consequences. So that makes it difficult to, resist our urges to, be impulsive, or it delays the reactions based on our impulsivity, you know. And also, like, impulsivity isn't just about actions. It can also be, emotional. People with ADHD, they may react strongly, quickly to situations without first, processing their feelings. We just let the emotions come out, and it's not always perceived in a positive manner. We do have difficulty with working memory, like holding information in our mind, such as, like, I shouldn't be doing this because it can be harder for us. So that's what leads to more spontaneous decisions. So this impulsivity, it can manifest in interrupting conversations, especially, when you're younger. I experience this as a teacher a lot with my students. Making quick purchases, I experienced this with myself as an adult. Risky behavior, I think that can go with both, kids and adults, and we speak without thinking, and people's feelings get hurt or they get upset at us. However, there are strategies like mindfulness, there's medication, and behavioral therapy. I've tried a few of those. And I think as I've gotten older, I've learned to manage my impulsivity more effectively, and I'll try to get into more things later.